Hi, my name is Chella Saya, and I'm a study abroad advisor at UW-Stout. One of the biggest concerns that we hear from students when it comes to studying abroad is cost. So today we're here to tell you about a really incredible scholarship program that your fellow Blue Devil, Deon Canon, was just awarded. We'll tell you if you are eligible to apply, and Dion will demystify the application process and share some great tips. So let's get into it. The Benjamin A. Gilman Scholarship is a U.S. Department of State program that's been running since 2001 through U.S. government funding. It's become the largest U.S. undergraduate scholarship program for study abroad. By supporting undergrads with high financial need, these scholarships of up to $5,000 have been successful in supporting students who have been historically underrepresented in study abroad, including first-generation college students, students in STEM fields, ethnic minority students, students with disabilities, and others. It's a great program. So the question is, are you eligible? To apply, you must be a citizen of the United States, an undergrad in good standing. You must be receiving a federal Pell Grant, this is key, during the time of the application, or provide proof that you'll be receiving one while studying abroad. You must be in the process of applying to or have already been accepted to a study abroad program of at least 3 weeks, and one that is eligible for credit. Multi-country and area programs are allowed. And finally, you must be applying to go to a country with an overall travel advisory level of 1 or 2 according to the U.S. Department of State. And finally, you have to submit the application. So now let's hear from Dion and his experience. So Dion, before we talk about all the details, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you heard about the Gilman?
Yeah, so my name is Deon Canon. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I double major in professional communication and emerging media, and the second major is applied social science, concentration in history and politics, and a minor in peace studies. For me personally, I heard about the Gilman Scholarship from my student support services advisor, Hannah Lamer. And she kind of told me about the Gilman Scholarship because she knew I was studying abroad. And she said, you fit all of these categories. You get the Pell Grant, you're underrepresented minority, and student and things like that. And she said, this would be great. It's a 2 essays, but if you do it, there's a decent amount of money, and there's awesome alumni programs if you get accepted. So that's kind of how I heard about the Gilman Scholarship.
Great. So what about the application process, those 2 essays? What can you tell us about that and what it involved?
Yeah, so the application process is pretty simple overall. It asks you kind of the standard questions, your information, questions about like your institution, what type of study abroad program you're planning on going to, and what country in particular. Then the biggest part, obviously, is the 2 essays that you have to write of the application. Then you got to make sure you talk to your study abroad and your financial aid advisors so they can certify you at the end of the step. So
yeah, so not too complicated. As far as the essays, I know that those are particularly key in the success of an application. So what did you concentrate on for your 2 essays?
Yeah, so for the first essay, I concentrated on my story, and I kind of talk about my mom, where I grew up, because I grew up in Milwaukee, and like pretty much like paint them a picture of who I am. That way they kind of have this embedded in their head while they're reading over my essay. That's kind of like one of the most important things. So I pretty much said that like right away in my first paragraph. But the main theme for that statement of purpose, I kind of talked about me never studying abroad in particular, kind of like why do I want to study abroad? Like I never even imagined that I would have this opportunity at all. And like kind of been truthful, like, I would start and stop application. And like one of the main barriers literally was just the financial part of it. And then I kind of told him about like my passion of why I wanted to receive this award and why I wanted to study abroad. And like one of those main reasons was just interacting with like international students and just want to expand my own horizon with people outside of the country. And then the second essay is the service project. And so that's kind of one of the more difficult ones. I would say is trying to figure out how can you, once you finish with your study abroad, how can you give back? And so I kind of focus on the awareness campaign because during my first 3 years in college, I kind of never knew about the Gilman scholarship. And even to my 5th year, I didn't know about it just until recently. So I wanted to do an awareness campaign, get more students involved and start helping them start applying for that. And so a great resource is kind of the service projects that on the website of the Gilman Scholarship, you can find like what other people kind of did and kind of give you ideas. So that's been helpful.
That's a good tip. Did you work with anybody at UW-Stout to get feedback on the essays before submitting them, like a faculty member or the writing center?
Yeah, so I kind of use student support services as the main tool for that. She kind of helped me look over my paper, kind of laid it out in a little bit better order than what I have it, and kind of just talk through things, just figure out like how do you want to order this, what kind of order give you the best impact. So the reader who reads it kind of understand you and want to pick you. And so that was like really helpful because my thoughts was kind of all over the place, but I knew exactly what my story was. And so just helping that laid out and like, this is what you're going to talk about first, this is what you're going to talk about second, that's kind of been helpful for me.
Yeah, I think getting that sort of separate view from somebody else can really be helpful. And I want to emphasize that our office, the Office of International Education, is also available to help students. In fact, I, as a study abroad advisor, sat in on separate panels for other scholarship applicants. And so I read dozens and dozens of essays. And what that did was really help me see what, really sets different students apart. Like you said, Dion, for that first essay, it's all about telling you the story. And I can still remember certain applicants that told such compelling stories that I still remember them. And as for the second one about the service or follow-on project, that one is absolutely key. Because some people will kind of just like, say, oh yeah, not really get into too many details. But those that did, they set themselves apart and really they set themselves up to be very strongly considered for the scholarship. So what other tips do you have for your fellow Stout students when they're applying for the Gilman and ultimately, hopefully, being awarded like you did?
So the first tip is just applying. I would say just that fear of no that you kind of get is like, oh, am I worthy enough, especially because it's like a national scholarship. Get that out of your head. The worst thing they can do is tell you no, and you automatically get told no if you never applied. So applying is just the first key step, and just getting over that hump, especially because it's like 2 essays and not many people want to write. So like just find that willpower to do those 7,000 words or something like that, and it's a whole lot of money at the end of this if you get awarded. So it's definitely pay off in the end. And then just the second thing is like tell your story. And just be truthful about your story. Like a lot of us have amazing stories that needs to be shared. And that's one of the main things that will really get you over there. Like you tell your story, be truthful to who you are, why you want to study abroad. And then the words flow a lot easier when you do that as a result. And then with the second essay, I think it's most important is like kind of figuring out like how can you help somebody get to where you at. That kind of mindset will help you get like, okay, what kind of steps do I need to do to help somebody get to where I'm at to get this award? Potentially, I think that probably helps set you up because I did like a awareness campaign is what I said. It's like making people more aware, sharing my personal story and things like that is really beneficial. So that's probably the most important 2 tips I got.
Thank you. Well, I just want to say you're such an inspiration for our office and to other Blue Devils, and we can't wait to check back with you later this year to hear about the course that you'll be taking using this scholarship. And for you viewers, please consider applying for the next round of scholarships. The application is due in October. If you're planning to study abroad, starting anytime in 2021. And finally, here are some ways to learn more and to connect with our office at UW-Stout. And we hope that we will hear from you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.